Tennessee This Week from WATE 6 on your side starts now.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody to Tennessee This Week. I'm Blake Stevens. So you have two other faces on your screen here. Alvin Nance, the chair of the the Knox County, Knoxville Sports Authority. And you have Richard Bass, the secretary treasurer of the Sports Authority. Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time. It was a big week for this proposed multi-use stadium. I know you all approved agreements on infrastructure, development, and lease agreement. So I just want to ask the two of you to kind of break down what's some of the highlights of those agreements, and what should the people know about what was approved this week?
I would say with regards to the development agreement, I think some of the highlights in the development agreement, we did codify some things with regards to costs relative to if there's cost overruns, what those things may look like. I think we also made certain that we also put in there information with regards to the DBE participations within the projects themselves. Also looked at the relationships to the project to the community in which it's located in. So I think there were some key things within the development agreement that the developer has committed to that people should feel good about at this point. And then, with regards to our lease, I think the great thing on the lease is that, we got a baseball team who's committed to paying us $1 million a year to play at the stadium.
And Richard, when he's talking about codifying things like with expenses, if you all agree to a certain amount on construction, that means if construction goes over, who pays any overage?
Boyd Sports, I believe, has a responsibility for cost overruns. We are finalizing the lease agreement now, which is really the backbone of the financing plan. And that calls for Boyd Sports to pay $1 million a year. That lease agreement will support the financing of the sale of the bonds and support the payback of the bonds, along with small contributions from the city and the county for the first several years. And then hopefully the plan is that the lease payments and increased sales tax revenue from the project and the surrounding projects will continue to pay off the bonds over the 30 years.
And from what I understand, this kind of arrangement is seen as unusual because, the team may have a good revenue year or a not so great revenue year, but does this mean for the taxpayers it's $1 million no matter whether it's a great year or a low year?
That's correct. Boyd Sports is assuming the risk in that regard.
Yes. Yeah.
And Alvin, you said DBE earlier. I know that acronym's used a lot in those meetings, but for our viewers, it's disadvantaged business enterprise. Is that right?
That's correct.
Break down how that was codified in these agreements.
Well, within an agreement, the developer has committed to give a very good faith effort to achieve at least a 17% minority participation. I think we originally started out with conversations around maybe a 15% participation. So developers have increased that amount. And not only they're talking about trying to achieve that number with regards to the construction of the stadium, but also in the operations of the stadium. So we're looking at a situation where this project is projecting, well over 400 permanent full-time jobs that's going to be generated from this. So we think that's a great opportunity for some minority and disadvantaged enterprises to benefit from it.
And Richard, what's next for the project? I know that you all are still negotiating the lease, but I guess when will we see that first shovel go into the ground?
Exact date on that, Alvin may know more than I, but I know the next step, or one of the next steps, is the bond sale. Right now, interviewing underwriters. They one or two will be selected, and then there'll be a negotiated sale is the plan. And once the investors come to the table, the bond rate will be set, the interest rate, and we'll know exactly what we're looking at. At that point, the money will, once the bonds are sold, which can probably happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks, the money will come into the hands of the Sports Authority. So we'll be sitting on, $75 million, I believe, in that round.
And what I would tell you, Blake, is we may not be able to tell you exactly what day we are putting the shovel in the ground, but it is still the intent of the Sports Authority and as well as the developer that we're trying to achieve a 2024 opening day for playing of baseball. So that is still a target date for us to try to have the stadium ready.
All right, and Alvin, from day one, literally from your first meeting, you all talked about being intentional, from internships to what attorney you hired to represent the board. You wanted to make sure that the greater East Knoxville community was included in this process. I guess I know you all have put in the effort, but how confident are you going forward that this is something that will directly benefit the East Knoxville community and not have one of those long-term consequences of something like urban renewal?
Well, I think in this scenario here is that we're dealing with a piece of property that was basically underutilized. It's not being really productive for the city itself. I think we're also looking at a situation where you look at the players who are at the table that are here. We're dealing with a local individual who lives here in Knoxville, who has a lot here in Knoxville and who is spending his money here. Whereas, in other situations, as Richard may tell you, is that that's typically as a developer who doesn't live in your city, who's coming into your city, who's looking to invest or spend money in your community. So I think when you look at the structure of the team that is there, it is built upon individuals who are here in the city of Knoxville. I think that having the Urban League at the table has been very important for that side of board's development group to have that voice at the table. I think having minority representation on the Sports Authority board, I think is also a key component to helping that be there. But I think we've also made certain that we've given the opportunity for the community, particularly the East Knoxville community, to have a opportunity to speak to the board. We're always holding public forums at those board meetings.
Richard, Randy Boyd is, in addition to paying a $1 million lease, is donating this land to you all to build this stadium. So I guess, and I've heard throughout, your meetings that some of you believe this could actually turn out to be pay for itself, essentially. We know that the city and the county are going to have whatever's left over, but I guess, will you break down how the stadium could actually turn out to pay for itself?
Well, as the numbers are not completely final yet because we don't know what the exact interest rate's going to be, but I think it will certainly pay for itself. The annual debt is anticipated to be around $3.2 million a year. That's the debt service on the bonds. $1 million will come from Boyd Sports. For the first, I believe it's 8 to 10 years, payments from sales tax and property tax from the area around the stadium, the businesses that are being created and the items that are going to be sold, whether in the restaurants or the memorabilia or whatever it may be, that sales tax generated is anticipated to bring the number up to, I believe, somewhere around 2.7 million. And the balance, the city and the county will each be contributing roughly $240,000 a year for the first 5 to 10 years, I believe. Is that correct?
10 years.
10 years. After that, the tax revenue generated will exceed the debt service on the bonds, and that will go to the Sports Authority, which will ultimately go to the city and the county.
And Mayor Kincannon has pointed out that $200,000 estimate. I don't remember the exact figure you just quoted, but it's about the same price the city pays to keep up a golf course.
Yes.
So sort of
240 is the number I'm hearing from each the city and the county, and that's correct.
All right.
Not insignificant, but it's really a pretty small piece of the budget.
The things that have been transformative in our city, such as the World's Fair Park when we created that, which we're coming up on a 40-year, I think, anniversary of the World's Fair Park here now. but the baseball stadium has the ability to have that same type of impact for our community. Not only are we talking about the opportunities economically and the development that can end up in East Knoxville, but also we're talking about the benefits that it really reached for the entire city of Knoxville. It's a new base of revenue that we're talking about that we all would all benefit from. So you know, we're going to keep our taxes low because we're bringing in new revenue.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hear from our panel of pundits. Stay with us, everybody. You're watching Tennessee This Week on WATE 6 on your side. All right, we want to welcome our panel of political pundits. We have our political contributor, Courtney Piper, our political analyst, George Corda, and our healthcare expert, Craig Griffith. All right, I want to start by talking about that news from Alvin and Richard there with the City County Sports Authority Board. Sounds like things are obviously moving along. I want to ask the three of you, in 10, 15, 20 years, looking down the road, do you think this is going to be just a good thing economically, or do you foresee any unintended consequences? Courtney?
It will be a good thing economically. It will bring in a tremendous amount of tax revenue and revenue, period, to both the city and the county. And we need that. Our needs are growing as a city and county. We are certainly not shrinking. We have demands on our infrastructure, and the additional revenue will certainly help with that. What's remained to be seen, but the players involved with building this have seemed to place a priority on, is how this will affect the community and in which it is located. There are a lot of very, very valid concerns about how this development will affect the neighborhoods in and around East Knoxville, and if it will push out existing residents in favor of gentrification. And so that is yet to be seen. There's also concerns about the Black-owned businesses and if they will benefit and gain wealth from being involved in building this project. There seems to be a keen eye on all of these things at a government level, and I would encourage elected officials and government officials to keep a keen eye on that. This project has the ability to raise up a lot of different communities as well as our community as a whole, and as long as we keep a keen eye on that, we should limit the unintended consequences.
Well, Craig, we just heard that the land is donated. The lease is going to be $1 million a year, and there's even hope that it may pay for itself. I mean, do you think at least what's been negotiated here, is a good deal for the city and county taxpayers?
Well, I think it's as strong a deal as you can come up with, but on the other hand, we'll have to wait and see how the stadium goes in terms of paying it for itself. That's way down the line. So, I'm a baseball fan. I actually went with one of your previous guests, Alvin Nance, to a game at Wrigley Field a few years back when we were on a business trip to Chicago. And I hope a lot of people that are coming to Knoxville on trips like that, or maybe even to the Smokies, will stop off and catch a game at the new stadium. So I think it's going to be a good thing. The key to me in terms of this being a successful or unsuccessful is the auxiliary development around the stadium. That is going to be the key. You're always going to have the stadium there, but the auxiliary development around the stadium is going to bring in a lot more tax revenue to help pay for this. And also how far the development spreads out around the stadium. One of your previous guests also mentioned Camden Yards in Baltimore, where there's been a lot of auxiliary development. So we'll see. It is really key in this case that we have a cooperative owner who's doing a lot of things right in this case that we have seen previous owners and other developers not do.
And George, what do you think? A good deal for Knox County?
Who knows? Probably, hopefully, we can hope for the best. But this is, I used to live in Florida. I went to a lot of spring training games, and this is spring training with this deal. That is, everybody's optimistic. Everybody's looking to the future saying, oh, this is going to be wonderful, and we're going to make all this money, and all these people are going to be happy. And once the season gets started, you find out how many games you're going to lose. Well, you're going to find out how many difficulties are out there in front. Well, the Courtney's point about gentrification. I mean, I've never really quite been able to get my head around that, in that if property is going to become more valuable, and you want property to become more valuable, but you don't want people to have to pay more for the property that's more valuable. It's a market force issue that becomes a real challenge. So anyway, right now, everybody's looking forward with optimism, and let's just get on the optimism train.
All right, Courtney, George, Craig, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk politics in the classroom and the rising cost of, well, everything. Stick around. You're watching Tennessee This Week on WATE 6 on your side. Okay, hey, welcome back, pundit. So there have been some developments in the way of education recently, starting with that proposal in Knox County for the equity policy, specifically working to improve the achievement gap, things like absenteeism, an effort to improve all students have, or an effort to ensure all students have effective teachers regardless of a student's race or income. Obviously, those types of policies are often criticized by conservatives. But on the flip side, you have Hillsdale, a conservative college in Michigan, looking to build charter schools with their message across Tennessee with state taxpayer dollars. So I guess my question to you three, are classrooms becoming the next the next political battlefield? George?
Well, I'm not sure it's really a conservative issue that parents want teachers to be effective. I don't think that's something that conservatives necessarily criticize. But I do think this equity policy is a little bizarre if you kind of sit and look at it for a little while. This is 2021, and there's a decision being made now that, gee, we're going to treat every student equitably. Yeah, well, you can do that, but not all students are equal. Some are smarter than others. Some are better at math than others. Some are better at reading than others. So if you're trying to make it, what's the definition here of equitable? If it's equality, you can't do that because people are different. And then the notion that we're gonna put children, make an attempt to put children with effective teachers. Well, that means they're ineffective teachers. That means there are teachers out there that somebody knows, either the school system or the principal or somebody knows, are not effective. Well, who are they? And why are children being sent into classrooms with ineffective teachers? Teachers, somebody has to know, are ineffective, which gives an argument, lends evidence to those people who say, I don't want my child to be foisted off on a teacher who's ineffective based on your own language, school system. I want to be able to send them to a charter school. I want to be able to send them somewhere that a voucher or something, but I can't afford it. And look, things aren't going that great as well. You can look back 10, 20 years further in public education. You got roughly 2/3 of kids in 4th grade cannot read at the 4th grade level. They can't do math at grade level. They can't do science at grade level. So there is a natural concern that parents have, and now they're being told, in effect, we got ineffective teachers, and we want to put kids with effective teachers. How do you identify them? And how are you going to put all the kids with effective teachers?
But George is making the case for the equity policy. That's all I can say.
No, I'm not.
Well, that's what
you are.
If there are students, particularly certain groups of students who have a disproportionate rate of absenteeism or academic achievement, should there be things put in place to make things more equitable? Courtney?
100%, absolutely, and that's why this equity policy.
Define equitable, please.
Okay, George, have you seen those little cartoons where there are 3 people of all different heights trying to look over the fence at a baseball game, for example? Mm-hmm. So if you have somebody who's 6 feet, they don't need any assistance to help look over and watch.
So what kind of equity policy?
If you've got somebody who's 3 feet, they need a bigger box to stand on than somebody who is 2 feet tall. So that's what equity means. You're giving people the different things that they need in order to succeed, in order to read at grade level, in order to do math, in order to understand science.
And this is just being figured out in 2021? Because
it's 2022. It's 2022.
Presumably they were working on it in 2021. These go back, you can look back 10 years, you can look back 20 years. The numbers are fairly consistent, and it doesn't matter if in New York,
George,
where they spend $28,000 on a student versus not.
Here's the thing, especially in East Tennessee, our families have changed and our communities have changed dramatically in the last 30 years. Part of this is very much propelled by the opioid crisis. There are children that come to school in crisis, and the way that we reach out to them, the way that we teach them needs to change.
Greg,
It's
I want to
different than it was 30 years ago.
Greg, I want to get your thoughts on this and kind of going back to that original question. You've got this push to incorporate more conservative curriculum in the state, and then you have this push to make more equitable policies. So do you think at least politics or politically charged ideas are creeping into the classroom?
Well, politics has always been in the school system. So I think this current impetus to develop this equity policy in Knox County actually started in 2014 with a task force that wanted to look at different outcomes for different groups of people. And they found out that there were quite significant outcome differentials in terms of absenteeism, reading on grade level, disciplinary measures, and things like that. So these have been known for years, and I'll say that the school system, in my opinion, hasn't taken necessary steps to change those. With a new superintendent coming on, that may change, but I don't know if you can turn this Titanic around. It's really hard to get this whole school system moving in a unified direction. But the majority of the teachers out there want the best for their students. But as Courtney says, their students come to school at different levels of preparation to receive instructions.
All right.
And that may be where the teachers need the most help. Many children are dealing with what they call ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, that really significantly reduce their ability to learn and things. So and I don't know if passing a resolution like this perhaps puts more emphasis at the system level instead of doing it at the classroom level.
So obviously schools is one of those issues that drive voters out. Another, though, is their wallets. And this week we saw inflation hit another record, the biggest high in 40 years. There's a different way to phrase that. But my question for the three of you is, obviously that's bad for the White House. Can President Biden recover? George?
Well, Larry Summers, who was the Secretary of the Treasury under Barack Obama, and who is a Harvard professor and pretty much an expert in these areas, warned that the stimulus package that President Biden got passed for COVID, nearly $2 trillion, was going to stoke inflation. I mean, he said it flat out. And a lot of people ridiculed him. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. No, it'll only be temporary. It's not you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Well, he was right. And it hasn't stopped going up yet. It's going to continue to go up. And people might want to put the best face on it. But this is a bad situation. Inflation is outpacing wage growth. Wages are growing because you got a smaller group of people trying to get jobs. But it's not keeping up with inflation. And I don't care who you are in the White House. I don't care what your name is. If inflation is bad on your watch, you are going to take it on the chin. Ask Jimmy Carter. He's an expert on this. And if you try to make excuses for it, Biden is, the American people, based on polls I've seen, continually say President Biden is focusing on the wrong issues. He's not focusing on the issues that matter most to them. And his poll numbers show it.
All right, I've got about 30 seconds for Courtney and Craig here. Courtney, go ahead.
The inflation is fueled by the pandemic, something that we did not get under control, that the world struggled to get under control. So we're in this spot because of a global health crisis. And to George's point about the stimulus packages, where would we have been if those stimulus packages didn't pass? People were hurting. We were in a no-win situation.
It's Biden. Biden specifically is the one that Summers was talking about.
President Trump also passed stimulus packages. It wasn't just one. We didn't have just one stimulus package during this entire pandemic. There were several relief packages that went through Congress and passed.
Yeah, but that one superheated the economy, is Summers' point. And
well, what if we hadn't passed
so did
the
qualified easing that the Fed did to business owners to the tune of many, many billions of dollars. So I'll say that this inflation it's going to be a new normal. We came out of the pandemic with things changed greatly, increased labor costs, issues with the supply line. So it's going to take a while to work out. And unfortunately, I think that it'll take longer than the date of the next midterm election, where if history is any guide, the Republicans will gain a large number of seats in the House.
All right. Thank you, Craig, Courtney, and George. Thank all of you for watching. We'll see you next Sunday at 12:30 for more Tennessee This Week. Take care, everybody.
The views of guests on Tennessee This Week are their own and do not represent the views of WATE 6 on your side or Nexstar Broadcasting.